The month of Ramadan is a part of the year where, subhanAllah, we observe time more than we usually do. We know what time the sun rises and we know what time it sets. We begin the month by looking at the moon as a crescent, and then it becomes a full moon, and then it ultimately becomes a crescent again before it bids us farewell. Ramadan bids us farewell and the Eid enters. This sun and the moon and the changing of the night and the day, they are ayahs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that are meant to cause us to reflect on the nature of time. No matter how old you are, whether you are 12 or you're in your 20s or 40s or 60s, you ask yourself, how fast has your life gone by? Each one of us is likely to say it went by like the blink of an eye, especially if you are a parent and your children were one day toddlers who are crawling around the house and you are picking them up and playing with them, and you observe them now and you will say, oh, look, they are in middle school or high school or driving a car or maybe even parents themselves. We all know someone who was with us 20 years ago, 30 years ago, who is no longer with us today. And that will be each one of us tomorrow. If we were to be resurrected, if you were to be resurrected in, let's just say, 100 years or 70 years, and you ring on the doorbell of your house, you walk down your own block and you ring the doorbell to your house, the person who answers that door is very likely to be a stranger. There will one day be a complete stranger living in your house. It will one day be sold or rented, and it will no longer be yours. The month of Ramadan is similar to our own life, where it just goes by very, very fast. SubhanAllah, 2/3 of Ramadan are now complete, and we are about to enter the greatest 10 nights of the year. In these last 10 nights, there is a night that is khayrun min alfi shahr. It is greater than 1,000 months, not equal to, but greater than 1,000 months. And 1,000 months is approximately 83 years. Witnessing one of these nights multiple times in your life will have a tremendous impact in the akhirah. I remember I was watching the Winter Olympics with my children, and there was this race. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but people were skating in a circle, racing each other for a long time. They were going maybe like 60, 70 laps. And they were all pacing themselves until they saw that there's only a few moments left. Then they gave it their 100%. When that clock started ticking, they each went all out. This is how the month of Ramadan is. No matter what you've done in these first 20 nights, these first 20 days, no matter how much you've messed up or haven't met your goal, you are still in the final stretch. You still have a chance where you can give your 100%, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah will bless you, especially if you're able to witness Laylatul Qadr. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself used to go all out in these last 10 nights, where he would perform i'tikaf in the masjid. And his i'tikaf was essentially him being in a tent, secluded in the masjid, in qiyam in qiyam and in salah. And he used to stay up for the entire night. So with these last 10 nights here, I want to give just one or two pieces of advice of things we can do. Number one, give sadaqah. The person at their death, the first thing they will wish for is sadaqah. لَعَلِّي أَصَّدَّقْ. They will say, أَخِرْنِي إِلَى أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ فَأَصَّدَّقْ. They will say, send me back for just a short moment of time so I can give sadaqah. If we were to bring a person from the dead and they were to they will pay anything to trade you for 1 minute of your Ramadan, especially in the last 10 nights. And you know what they will do? They will give sadaqah, because that's what the Quran says. فَأَصَّدَّقْ, that person who passes, they will wish to give sadaqah. So if you are giving sadaqah, spread that out across the last 10 nights. Every single night, give something. More so in the odd nights, but make sure you give something. If you plan on giving 1,000, dig deeper into your pocket and give 1,500, because all of this is going to go to someone else and wither away. The second thing is that in these 10 nights, there's still blessed moments that are more blessed in them. The odd nights are more blessed than the even nights. And in the last third of the night, it is more blessed than the first part of the night. And if this last third of the night it falls on an odd night, which is also on a Friday night, now you have three blessings. You have the blessing of a Friday night, the blessing of an odd night, and the blessing of the last third of the night. And in this last third of the night, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he descends to the lowest heaven and he asks this question. He says, هل من داع فأستجيب له? Is there anyone making dua so I can answer him? هل من سائل فأعطيه? Is there anyone who has a request so I can give it to him? هل من مستغفر فأغفر له? Is there anyone who wants to be forgiven so I can forgive him? This last third of the night, do not be someone who is asleep in this time or be focused so much on eating a large suhoor. Forgo some dunya. for to answer this call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where He is asking you, is there anyone who wants to ask or wants forgiveness that I can give him this? And which one of us is not in dire need for all three of these things? That our dua be answered, our requests be given, and our sins be forgiven. Finally, this is the greatest time of the year, and these blessed nights are a time where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is answering dua. So if you have a need, there's something you need from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't be afraid. Don't think that He cannot do it, or don't think that it is beyond possibility. Raise your hands to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and beg Him and ask Him and give Him. And inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will respond to you. Ask big. You are not asking someone who is stingy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves when you ask. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to continue to ask Him. So in these last 10 nights, take advantage and put in the extra effort, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from us and answer our dua and accept our Ramadan.